Let's be honest, life sucks. Not all the time, but enough that you start to wonder if that's just the default setting. You work hard, you achieve things, and for a brief moment you feel like you've made it. And then, poof, the excitement disappears, and you're right back to feeling like you're just going through the motions. I know this feeling well. I did everything I was supposed to do. I got a college degree, then a master's degree, immigrated my family to the US, helped my wife get her first job, and built a stable life. Then I moved to Hawaii because, hey, maybe success feels different when you're surrounded by palm trees. Nope. So I threw myself into teaching, worked hard, won some competitions, made a name for myself, and still, that same question. Now what? So, I retired early, moved to Jamaica, started helping kids, launched a YouTube channel, and even now, that little tiny voice in my head goes, alright, cool, but what's the point? And it turns out, this isn't just me. Some of the most successful people in history, billionaires, Olympic athletes, world-class artists, they all get to the top and realize it's just another plateau. Tom Brady wins 7 Super Bowls and still unretires. Michael Phelps wins 23 gold medals and still struggles with depression. These are people who literally did more than 99.999% of humans ever will, and they still feel lost. That's because success is a scam. Not in the sense that it's fake. Hard work does get you places, but the feeling of success, the idea that once you achieve enough, you'll finally feel fulfilled. That's the part that's a lie. It never lasts. You just unlock a new set of problems. And yet, what if that's actually a good thing? The beauty of the suck. At first, realizing that life is just an endless cycle of effort, disappointment, and brief moments of victory feels depressing. But the more you think about it, the more it makes sense. Because imagine if life didn't work this way. Imagine if you could reach a point where you felt 100% satisfied, where there was nothing left to strive for. Sounds nice, right? Except, what would you actually do with yourself? You'd wake up with nothing to push towards, nothing to fight for, just sitting there like a retired racehorse, wondering what happened to the thrill of the chase. That's why the struggle itself is the whole point. The setbacks, the obstacles, the endless grind. It's not a bug, it's the entire system. And the better you get at enjoying the suck, the better life actually becomes. And why do we keep showing up? There's a reason people voluntarily sign up for difficult things. Marathons, weightlifting, building businesses, raising kids, even something as simple as fixing a stubborn bicycle for the 100th time. None of these things are easy. They're frustrating, exhausting, and half the time they make you want to quit. But we do them anyway, not because they're easy, but because they're hard. Because somewhere in the struggle, there's something that makes it worth it. Maybe it's the progress. Maybe it's the relationships. Maybe it's just the satisfaction of knowing you didn't quit when things got tough. But let's get real. What happens when things don't go according to plan? Maybe you're trying to build something, a business, a relationship, or a dream, and you hit a setback. It's easy to feel defeated, like you failed, and it would be easier just to walk away. I've been there. Heck, I spent plenty of sleepless nights wondering if any of this was worth it. But the key moment comes when you realize that the act of getting back up, pushing through that discomfort, is exactly what builds the thing you're after. It's easy to look at people who seem to have it all and think they got there without struggle. But behind every success, there's a whole bunch of ugly moments that no one talks about. And in those moments, they weren't just pushing toward an end goal, they were enjoying the grind. The victories didn't come because they were waiting for things to be easy. They came because they learned to love the suck. And so take a second and think about it. If life were easy, would it actually be wanted? Would you be fulfilled if you didn't have to try? Think about a hobby, a skill, or something you've worked at for years. Maybe you failed before. Maybe you've gotten frustrated. But now, you're looking at it differently. You're not just hoping to be a master. You're enjoying every little step along the way, knowing that those moments of struggle are the very thing making you better. And that's what gets lost in the pursuit of success, the process, the grind, the suck. But the truth is, it's precisely that which makes life feel worthwhile. The process over the product. Here's where it all comes together. The ultimate secret to happiness isn't the final product. It's not about achieving some grand goal and sitting back on your laurels. The real secret is in how you learn to engage with the process. Now, I'm not saying you should go out and seek out struggles for the sake of struggles. I'm not talking about inviting suffering into your life, as if it's some weird badge of honor. What I'm saying is that when life hands you its inevitable difficulties, you have the chance to embrace them instead of running from them. Embrace the tough conversations. Embrace the setbacks. Embrace the long hours. Embrace the failures, because they shape who you are. And without them, what would you have to work with? Maybe the real joy isn't in achieving the thing you set out to do. Maybe it's in everything you learn, everything you discover, and every tiny step forward you make while struggling toward it. Because when you find a way to love the grind, when you embrace the suck, it stops being about the result. It's all about the journey, the ongoing climb, the process of becoming. And here's the kicker. It's not about waiting for some magical moment when everything aligns and finally feels right. It's about realizing that the struggle itself is what's right. It's what makes life real. So what do you do? If life is just a series of mountains with no real peak, the smart move isn't to try and win life. It's to find ways to enjoy the climb. To stop waiting for some imaginary moment where everything makes sense, and just accept that the mess is the meaning. So yeah, life sucks. But it sucks in a way that's worth showing up for. It's tiring, frustrating, and never really feels like it adds up. But maybe that's what makes it interesting. Maybe the goal isn't to escape the suck, but to find joy in the fact that we get to keep trying. And if nothing else, at least we're not bored, because boredom would really suck.